one is the feet.
Go on, you got it.
The community average hit is 30 and I got 34.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Athletic Approach. Success in sports isn't just won on the track, on the field or on the court. It's earned in what I call the forgotten months or days and hours that no one ever sees. Victory or failure lies in the hands of the athlete long before the competition gun fires. In my time as a coach, one thing that I can say with absolute certainty is that all athletes present a unique case of strengths, weaknesses and skill sets. I had an incredible opportunity to do a performance testing session with a great group of footballers. It is always so interesting doing these type of sessions because two athletes may run two identical times or achieve the same jump height score, yet may have entirely different physiques, different preparation, different attitude towards the tests. Some may have been self-doubting, others may have been excited, and of course they all have different experience level as well. Having said all that, I have noticed a common trend in characteristics of my most successful athletes. But first, before I want to define what success is and look beyond the obvious of just winning medals and championships. Success means something different to everyone and is often just a complex equation of personal growth. In my coaching system, we define success as periodized accomplishments of any given aim or goal, no matter how big or small that goal is. The first key to success is learning to detach from the ego. I saw this with a lot of this group and also with other sports I coach in as well. The most successful athletes don't let their failures define them. Instead, they just analyze their mistakes and use that as valuable feedback. In the performance testing session we had a few mistakes in some of the jumping tests. Arms were swinging at the wrong time, legs were flexing in the air. They're meant to be straight in the air. That was no big deal to the group though. They analysed their performance, they tried to correct it, and they just got on with it, which I absolutely love this attitude towards the performance tests. This mindset is what separates an average athlete from an exceptional one. Curious athletes ask questions. They also challenge their own beliefs and seek out their opportunities to learn. The best athletes I've worked with have the ability to step back from their emotions and critically evaluate their performance without letting their self-worth get entangled in the results. This attitude allows them to focus on continuous improvement rather than fearing failure. If one of these athletes got too attached to their failures, like if one of the athletes kept making that arm swing mistake again and again and again, and convinced themselves they would just never get it right, this is just wasted emotional energy preserving their self-esteem instead of challenging their limitations. A key lesson here is that growth happens when an athlete can separate their self-worth from their performance and use mistakes as a tool for self-discovery and improvement. So, when an athlete can detach from their ego and remain curious, it can only lead to good conversations with their coach, right? Which brings me on to the second successful characteristic that athletes I've coached showed. They are great communicators. Without that solid communication, I would have no way of knowing if an athlete is feeling motivated, frustrated, exhausted, or even happy. And I have no idea if they're dealing with any challenges outside of training. But communication isn't just about words, it's about listening, observing body language, and being receptive to feedback. I've seen countless examples of how poor communication can hold athletes back. One case that stands out was a talented 15-year-old athlete I coached a few years ago. He rarely expressed how he was feeling to me. He seemed to bottle up his emotions about how competitions went and would often train through stress and fatigue, often from schoolwork and his own social life. Eventually, this led to complete burnout and complete disengagement from the sport, which is really sad. The most successful athletes I've worked with understand that communication is a two-way street. They aren't afraid to speak up about their injuries or the niggles that they might be experiencing, or any personal challenges outside of sport, which might be impacting how they feel emotionally, or even small details like how the training session feels at that time. I once had an athlete who consistently communicated how different training loads affected their performance. So that really allowed us to fine-tune the program and really start to see progress. Body language is just as important as words. Over the years, I've learned that athletes often say more through posture, their facial expressions and energy levels than they do verbally. I've worked with athletes who insisted they were fine, but then they had slumped shoulders and they were sluggish in their movements, and that obviously tells me otherwise. By initiating conversations based on these non-verbal cues, I've been able to adjust their training, potentially preventing injuries and also potentially preventing mental fatigue. At the end of the day, athletes who communicate, whether through words, actions, or both, in my opinion, set themselves up for long-term success. Another trait of successful athletes is their ability to take opportunities. They don't wait for the perfect moment or for someone to hand them that success. They actively seek out challenges and make the most of every chance to grow. I saw this firsthand in the performance testing session. This was a completely new group of footballers. I'd never seen them before. Hadn't worked with them before. It was so great to see some of the athletes jumping at the opportunity to find out their sprint times, analyze their vertical jump height, to try and progress in their sport. While in other groups I've coached, you can sometimes see some hesitation, perhaps unsure if they were ready to be tested or didn't want to go first in line. This ability to seize opportunities is what separates great athletes from average ones. Also, in my own coaching experience, I've seen young athletes hesitate to enter competitions because they feel unprepared for the competition, only to then go on and watch their more fearless teammates step up and go for it even under pressure. So next time, if you're an athlete watching this, whether it's saying yes to a performance testing session, even if you're scared to see where you might match up alongside your peers, or training with a more advanced or older group, or just saying yes to an unexpected competition, this is you seizing an opportunity, and recognize that every moment you create for yourself is a chance to improve and to be successful. I hope you found this video useful, and please make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you don't miss another video.